Elsewhere in our news this Friday, the fate of a Canadian man accused in a deadly synagogue bombing in Paris nearly 4 decades ago remains unclear this morning. The French Court of Appeal has again delayed a ruling in the case of Hassan Diab. Prosecutors are still looking to put Diab on trial after he was released from a French prison in January following more than 3 years in custody without charges. Thomas Degg traveled to Paris for those court proceedings. Didn't pan out as expected. What did happen in court today, Thomas?
Yeah, it was not what we were expecting. We weren't the only ones, Heather. There was a group there representing victims of terrorism. There was even a woman who was present who was injured in that 1980 synagogue bombing. Still 38 years later looking for justice. No one's coming out of this day satisfied because it's just yet another delay. The Court of Appeal here has asked for further analysis of handwriting evidence that apparently may tie Hassan Diab to this 1980 bombing. He has always maintained his innocence, said he wasn't even in France at that time, and there was so little physical evidence that's been provided by the prosecution that ties Diab to that bombing that this perhaps could be key, could move this case forward. What we are hearing from his defense team is they are hopeful that perhaps this could be wrapped up next year, but my colleague David Cochran in Ottawa spent the morning with Diab as he got the news. Listen.
11 years, and still with all the evidence, everything, it's just a way to say like, oh, we don't want to admit our mistake. That's a message.
So what then is next for Hassan Diab, Thomas?
Well, another delay of another few months. The next step is February 15th. That is the deadline for the analysis of this handwriting evidence that has to be submitted to court. After that, both sides are going to look at it and decide what happens next and whether we're right back here to the Court of Appeal. Here's what Diab's defense lawyer told us today.
We remain confident. We have to consider that the court has a doubt, and that in the light of this doubt, it has decided to order what is necessary to make sure that it can take its decision fully in next year.
Now, keep in mind, Heather, it's been a decade since Diab was first arrested by the RCMP at the request of French authorities. They finally got him extradited to France from Canada in 2014. He spent 3 years in prison here without ever facing a formal charge. He is back home for the time being, and his defense team, they don't think that there's going to be any sense of finality in all of this until next summer at the earliest, Heather.
Incredible. And we'll talk to David Cochran about that conversation you highlighted for us there, Thomas. Thank you. Thomas Degg from Paris this morning.